was with, I mean, Charcy and I forgot the other guy's name, and I'm going to get lambasted for that, trust me, I will. I'll get tortured by my team. They were some of the inspiration for the idea. Like, we looked at those and said, those guys were cool, but why did we do it just once? Like, it was cool to do that, but now everyone kind of, it had a lot of kind of broken mechanics to it. You'd save your imbue, you'd save your socket adding until you got just the perfect item. So, and that's not really fun. Like, you get a reward, you should be able to use the reward right away. So some of it was looking at those characters and saying, how can we expand on that idea and really fix the issues with it.
Okay, thank you. Will there be another possibility to name your items, or you can crush your online prices for your items again?
We kicked around not naming items because that's a can of worms in terms of, people don't put nice words, and they figure out a way around the filters. So we did talk about doing like some kind of a ability to put an inscription, like a personal note on them. We may do that, we may not. We don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Any news about the hardcore mode, or do you have informations about the requirements to create a hardcore character?
I'm sorry, the requirements for?
To create a hardcore character.
Oh, to create a hardcore character. We're definitely doing hardcore modes. You can make hardcore characters, and they work like D2. They die forever. In terms of the requirements, we're not sure at this point. We haven't made a decision about that. So I'm sure there'll probably be some kind of requirement, but we'll get into it once we get there.
Any features at the moment?
Any
features
for the hardcore mode? Yeah. Beyond being able to go into hardcore mode? Not at this point. You can turn it on and you can die. That's featured. But no, we haven't done anything specifically around it. Once we get into more core BattleNet, we may do something in terms of like how you're presented within BattleNet, how you're presented within the world. Obviously, if you make the choice to make a hardcore character and you manage to, hopefully everyone knows what a hardcore character is. In Diablo 2, hardcore characters, essentially, if they ever died, they were dead forever. They were just gone. So it was a really popular feature in Diablo 2, and we're definitely doing it in Diablo 3. We definitely want you to show up prominently on BattleNet if you're playing a hardcore character, so that people can see and go, oh, wow, you're crazy.
Thank you.
Do the artisans actually follow you on the battlefield, and do they even fight with you? Or do you have, I don't know the English word, but you could hire hunters to fight with you in Diablo 2? So do you have a system in place for that too, to fight with an NPC character?
The artisans do not. They're lovers, not fighters. So they don't go out into the world. They do follow you though, as you move to different locations in the game. They essentially pack up their cart and go with you. And you do get a whole cast of other characters that will go with you as well, but we're not talking about them today.
Okay, so you need to go to the city again to sell your items?
Yeah, there's always a central location as you move from location to location throughout the game that you go back to do and interact with your artisans and sell items and access your stash and do those kind of regular activities.
Will there be a town portal system like in Diablo 2?
No, there won't be a town portal system. We are doing waypoints like in Diablo 2. Waypoints are more frequent than town portals, but it's been our goal to get rid of town portals because they're pretty much they're a horrible combat exploit. You can cast a town portal. The way town portals work, for those who maybe didn't play Diablo 2, was you can cast them wherever you were and essentially create a little portal that lets you go back to town. And the problem with that was it became a crutch. Like, you cast them, and to get out a bad combat situation, or to, if you had a boss that was overly hard, you cast a town portal, die, go back, come, spawn in town, go through the portal, die again. It created a lot of kind of bad design. It also created a lot of bad combat exploits, and it hurts class design a lot when essentially the players can rely on and lean on the system to as a combat escape mechanism when that was never what it was intended to be. So we removed town portals, and we're trying very hard to keep them out. It's one of the reasons that we added systems like salvage to the game. So as you go through, because you can't go back to town quite as often as you could in Diablo 2, we want you to have a way to manage the items that you get, because that's really the main reason people want to go back to town, is to deal with their items.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. In your opinion, which one is the biggest improvement between Diablo 2 and 3? And sorry, the second question is going to be any chance for Diablo 3 to be released in home consoles like Xbox or PS3? Thank you.
I didn't catch the first question.
To all those Diablo 2 fans that right now are playing online, what would you tell them to move to Diablo 3?
Why would they move to Diablo 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an enormous number of reasons. The look of the game, updated graphics, I think the itemization is even better than Diablo 2, especially with on the visual front. The combat model's deeper. There's new content to play, new classes. I love Diablo 2, but I have played it quite a bit. So it kind of, we imagine people will be quite ready to play Diablo 3. So I could probably come up with a bunch of other reasons, but those are a good collection. In terms of consoles, we aren't exploring that right now. So do we imagine that Blizzard will make console games someday? Absolutely. Diablo's actually probably one of the better games for consideration for consoles, just because the controls would likely translate more easily than some of our other games, but we're not exploring anything like that right now.
Thank you.
So people spend a lot of time in Diablo 2 by trying to get one item from one of their characters to another. How will you react on this? Like, will there be a feature to mule items from one of your characters to another? And what will it be?
You don't like the Diablo 2 system? The dropping on the ground in a game, leave, get your character, hope the game doesn't close, hope nobody finds it. What's wrong with that system? Like, that works great.
It's pretty stupid.
Yes. Yeah, it's stupid, and absolutely. There's a couple of ways you can do that. We could do a shared stash, we could do mail. We'll pick one. We haven't picked one yet, but we'll do one or the other. We're essentially, again, once we get into real serious core battle.net development, that's probably the place where we'll make the decision of which system. I probably lean a little bit more towards a shared stash because I think it's easy. It's the most convenient for the player. It feels the best.
Are we going to have chat channels in Battle.net? Because StarCraft 2 has none.
I do not know. I know chat channels is something they want to have. So will it be there by the time we release? I hope so. Good.